Hey yo everyone! So, not sure if you heard this or not, but Sony released a new game last week. Yep, Concord is certainly, out. Over the past couple of years, Sony has been pumping out hit after hit, and with 2024 looking pretty barren for the PS5, I think the big heads might have gotten a little desperate here. Instead of the traditional single-player masterpieces that Sony usually produces, we got Concord, a $40 hero shooter live service game that essentially was dead on arrival. But why? I mean, obviously Sony wanted to put this game out because of lack of games this year and because live service games are all the hype these days, but why did Concord specifically fail so tremendously? Today, I want to talk about Concord and how it is a perfect reflection of the state of live service games in 2024. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, so for those out of the loop, Concord is this Overwatch style live service game that really failed to build any sort of momentum at all. The marketing, while being decent in itself, wasn't pushed very hard. From what I've read from other people online, some gamers didn't even know that this was a thing or that it would be releasing so soon. So yes, poor advertising does play a part in this. In terms of the actual game though, I haven't played it, but from what people are saying, it's actually not too bad. Apparently the gunplay is decent, the heroes are mostly fun to play, the maps flow smoothly, and the attention to detail throughout the game is obvious. It looks like somewhere in here is a project that had a lot of love and hard work poured into it. I mean, that makes sense. The game supposedly took 8 years to produce, which makes it even more depressing to find out that the game has never surpassed 700 players on Steam. Jesus, that is a gut punch. Since this was a PS5 PC exclusive and Sony hasn't released their numbers, we can't say for sure how many players Concord had at launch, but we can say for certain that the Steam numbers are abysmal, and that's being generous. For me, there are two main reasons as to why I think Concord flopped as hard as it did. The first point being that this is a hero shooter. Hero shooters, despite the popularity of a very select handful, aren't really that successful. Valorant works because it's essentially a super competitive hero shooter like CSGO. Rainbow Six Siege works because it's the most realistic in the genre, or at least comes off that way. Apex Legends is a hero shooter in a battle royale setting. And of course, Overwatch, who is basically the founding father of hero shooters in the mainstream, is highly accessible but still incredibly competitive. The thing that makes a hero shooter is that it's not just a bunch of faceless military soldiers blasting M16s. It's full of unique characters who stand out visually and have their own characteristics and gameplay styles. While Concord nails the gameplay aspect, the characters still fall short. They all have these weird names that don't really hint at their abilities, these weird design choices, and seemingly no backstory. Like, Overwatch has a bunch of lore and character names that make sense, like Tracer. What the hell am I supposed to do with a name like Lennox? I guess Concord is planning on releasing cutscenes and content every week to flesh out the game and characters, but I don't even know if that's going to happen anymore because of how bad of a start the game is off to. The second and biggest reason why I think this game failed is that it's a live service title. Now obviously live service games can work, we've seen that with games like Fortnite and Warzone, but the thing is, those games are free. Concord costs $40. The whole premise of a live service game is that you make it free to play to welcome in as many players as possible and then win them over with great gameplay. The gameplay will make players stick around, and those who stick around will become invested in the game, perhaps even opting into buying custom skins or characters or a battle pass so that they can keep earning rewards while they play the game they're going to play anyway. But Concord costs $40 just to get your foot in the door. If this is supposed to be a traditional live service game, that means that $40 is the minimum amount required to play, with probably more expenses such as a battle pass and guns coming later at an additional price. Meanwhile, the competition is saying anyone can play for free. Even if only a fraction of those players convert to paying, the player pool is so much bigger than a game that charges an entry fee. And now Concord is dealing with the consequences. The player count wasn't great to start, but since its launch, it's dropped over 80%, and people have been posting online that they can't even find a match. It's an exclusively online multiplayer game without anyone actually playing it, making it an instant waste of $40. The other thing about being a live service game, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this, I think it's just too little too late. Like, Fortnite works because it set the formula for the genre. Warzone works because it's Call of Duty. Rocket League and Overwatch already had well-established fan bases. What does Concord bring to the table? The gameplay is there, sure, but where's the emotional investment? They didn't really do a whole lot of marketing, and they're keeping the game lore locked behind a battle pass, so how are people supposed to care about this game? As far as I can tell, they're not reinventing the wheel here or using some already popular IP like Gotham Knights. This is just a whole lot of unknown, I guess. And the thing is, when you have a game like this where you need players to keep coming back, you have to find a way to make them care. Whether it be an interesting story or innovative game mechanic, the players have to want to spend their money on the game, even if it's not necessary. Which kind of brings me back to the too little, too late idea. The problem with new live service games is that they have a massive uphill battle in front of them. For your game to work, you're going to need players to dedicate themselves to the game to keep it alive. However, in order for that to work, they have to either A, pull new gamers into the mix, or B, win over players from the competition. Spoiler alert, Concord has done neither. Like I said, they didn't do anything to introduce new players. This isn't a well-known IP with an established fan base, so no one's gonna buy this game because their favorite hero is in it. And come on, man, as much as I want new ideas and IPs to flourish, Concord didn't do nearly enough to distinguish itself from the live service juggernauts like Overwatch or Valorant. Those games have players that are dedicated to it. People who log in every day to complete their daily challenges or see what's new in the store. There's only so much time that a person can allocate to a game. This isn't like a single player title where you can play it every other day and beat it after 40 hours. Concord is trying to be the game that you need to hop into daily to keep up with the story, the meta, the battle pass. And that market just doesn't really seem to be there at the moment. Look at Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is by far one of the best games I've played this year. It exploded in popularity when it first launched, despite it being a live service game with a $40 price tag. The game had a specific vision, and it was a sequel for an already beloved, although small, fan base. Despite how viral the game went, it's now down to around 21,000 players daily. Don't get me wrong, that's no small feat, but it's almost nothing compared to the fact that it once had 458,000 concurrent players. My point being is that even the best new live service games still struggle to remain relevant, and Concord was never even relevant in the first place. It truly feels as if this game was sent out just to die in embarrassing fashion. Maybe it will be able to bounce back with all of the lore and additions that they've been talking about, but I wouldn't hold my breath. The leash for live service games is incredibly short, so if they don't turn this around quick, I'd expect this game to lose support very, very soon. But I want to know what you guys think. Kind of a bummer of a video this week, but hey, it's slowest time of year for gaming. What are your thoughts on Concord? Did you hear about it before it went viral for flopping, or is this the first time you even heard of it? Have you been playing it? What are your thoughts if you have been? I'm genuinely curious to know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys as always, and I will catch you in the next one.